Okay, so this next question is very much a recreational pilot's question, and it surrounds the use of perhaps more obscure permissions, things like Article 16, as there's this one specifically mentions. And I'll just read his question out. My question comes with some context. I've a large park outside my house where I fly. I have a 410 gram FPV drone and with a spotter, but I was once approached by an officer, and when he found out it was over 249 grams, he seemed to think that what I was doing was wrong. It took me a while to convince him otherwise, brackets, i.e. Article 16, close brackets. I felt guilt until proven innocent, and it really puts me off me enjoying the hobby I love. Will the police have access to more information and training so we can enjoy our hobby? And he puts a little quote at the end: FPV is not a crime. I was made to feel like I have to prove myself.
Yeah, a couple of great points in there, Sean. And this is something that we are, I'll be honest with you, it is a challenge getting this information into the minds of frontline officers. Your community will be aware that your policing is under a lot of pressure at the moment. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. There's a lot of things they're doing around vulnerable persons or domestic abuse, knife crime, drugs. There's a variety of things that are keeping officers' minds busy. What I would say is that if an officer is going up to speak to somebody, then there is a reason for that. They're not actively going out looking for reasons to impede people flying drones. Our position very much, and we're reinforcing this in every bit of training that we're doing, drone flying in the UK is legal unless there is a reason that the officer can point to that it's not legal. So that's the starting position, is that drones are okay. Drones are not a problem unless there's a reason that that the flight's not lawful or whatever it might be. So in this situation, I think the person asking the question is entirely right. Have that conversation with them. What really helps is if the person has information with them that can resolve any concerns that the officer may have, and that would be things like the leaflets. I know you've provided leaflets to the community that set out their awareness of what the rules are. So even demonstrating to a police officer that you haven't just bought the drone and put it up without any thinking, you are aware that there is a framework around it. That certainly helps. Be aware that they may be asking for things like operator ID or flyer ID. If you are using an Article 16 mechanism, then again, it's useful to be able to set that out. Generally, people, that guilt thing, feeling guilty, it is just a fact of life when people speak to police. It's not something that does happen every day, but ideally that interaction has gone such a way that actually everybody can walk away happy with how it's gone. There is nothing that takes up a huge amount of time or any repercussions that follow from that. But no, you're exactly right. There is an issue with getting this into officers' minds because they do have their plates full. But it is something that we're taking very seriously, and there will be more work going on to build this not only into training for officers who join the police, but also for people who've been in for however long, just to get them up to speed as well.
Excellent. And I understand that also includes that there will be drone representatives within the Royal College of Policing as well, in terms of getting at that early stage.
Right. Yeah, that's right. College of Policing. So there's a system called APP, which is a sort of internal thing. But what that effectively does is it sets out how various things are done within policing, whether that's say domestic violence or firearms or surveillance or whatever it might be. So we are developing an APP for drone law and the enforcement of drone law. The college are putting that in their syllabus, as I say, for new joiners, and we are looking at other products that can get it out to everybody across the UK. We've got a roadshow that we take around to a variety of places. It's a huge part of our work, is to upskill officers in the powers, in the framework, and in the law. I think we recognise, and I know this is a conversation you and I have had many times. Drone law is not straightforward in the UK, and there are not that many people, if we're being completely frank, who really understand it. And I know the recent videos you've been doing on the Clifton Suspension Bridge, again, they demonstrate that there is still a disparity in people's understanding of what is out there. And when you look at the framework that makes drone flying okay, and then you look at the potential offences, and then you look at the potential enforcement options available, it does start to get quite complex quite quickly. But as I say, that is something that we're certainly taking very seriously.
Yes, and again, it is a good point from the point of view that Article 16, for instance, when we've just had a video explaining what Article 16 is and how to use it. And that came about because we had a poll, and the vast majority of people answering that poll stated that they'd never even heard of Article 16. So if the vast majority of the drone community have never heard of it, then that, again, an officer is a human being that puts a uniform on every day. It's probable that it's going to happen there, especially as their head is full of lots of other legislation, etc., and other priorities. Because I often say this, I sound like I'm on the police's side, although I don't necessarily think there is a side. But the police officers are not hiding in the bushes, ready to jump out and arrest people for or harass people for flying their drone. As you say, there will generally be a reason why they're approaching you, basically. So
very much so.
Yeah,
and I think as well, it's useful to remember that in many cases, the person the officer is speaking to, they can set the tone of that interaction. So being open, explaining what Article 16 is, having information with you to explain to the officer what that is a really good thing. What gets officers, what concerns officers is when people are really holding back and they're really not engaging, and you do naturally think this person's got something to hide, that there's a reason that they're not acting as 99.9% of the public act when they're speaking to a police officer. They've pulled down all the shutters, they're not sharing anything. This doesn't look good. This really looks like something I need to look at a bit more. Now, we very often get inquiries from officers following interactions where they've recognized that they haven't got their heads around how things are, and they're asking for information. What is the situation here? What can I do differently next time? What does the law say? What powers do I have available? So when an officer is in a situation where they do recognize that they don't have 100% of the knowledge immediately at their fingertips, that's not a comfortable position for any officer to be in, and they don't want to be in that position. So they're always looking for opportunities to increase their understanding, because these situations will happen again, and nobody walks away from a bad interaction wanting to have the same thing happen again. And police officers certainly in that boat of wanting to understand it more, so any future interactions can go differently.